All right, we're doing digital SAT, digital SAT reading and writing test. This is on information and ideas, and this is a medium level test. All the reading and writing tests that we've done prior to this are foundation level tests. This is medium level. Let's do it. Let's look at the, what is this? Okay. Songbirds learn to respond to and imitate their species' songs from an early age. With each generation, small differences are introduced that result in distinct variations called dialects among geographically isolated populations of the same species. A research study examined whether 12-day-old Sedula, pied flycatcher nestlings prefer local dialects over the unfamiliar dialects of non-local populations. The more begging calls the nestlings made in response to a song, the stronger their preference. The researchers found that nestlings produced more begging calls in response to their own dialect than to non-local dialects. And song preference plays a role in songbird mate selection. The findings suggest that, let's see, nestlings show a preference for both local dialects. Well, C, A is a no, because actually, let me get something to write with here. Okay, good. A, no. We need something about, as far as what logically completes the text, something about mate selection. Nestlings' preference for their own dialect likely drives them when they mature to reproduce with other, from local rather than non-local populations. Yes, that one makes sense. Let's go with it. All right. Barchester Towers is an 1857 novel by Anthony Trollope. In the novel, Trollope's portrayal of Dr. Prouty underscores the character's exaggerated sense of his own abilities, which quotation most effectively illustrates the claim. All right, exaggerated sense of his own abilities. Must not be taken as proved. Blah, blah, blah. A, no. Residence in the metropolis rendered necessary by duties entrusted to him, no. C, possessed of sufficient tact to answer the no. D, I hope this is it, was comparatively young and had, as he fondly flattered himself, been selected as possessing such gifts natural and acquired as must be sure to recommend him to a yet higher notice. Yes. That is someone who has an exaggerated, what was it called? An exaggerated sense of his own abilities? All right. All right, so it's a graph. In high concentrations, hydrogen sulfide, H2S, is typically toxic to many plants. Frederick Dooley and colleagues wanted to understand what effects low doses of H2S might have on plant growth. They treated bean, corn, wheat, and pea seeds with various concentrations measured in micromoles per liter of H2S and tracked the germination of those seeds along with the germination of untreated seeds. Treatment with particular concentrations of H2S was associated with accelerated germination. For example, which choice most effectively uses data from the graph to complete the state? Well, let's take a look. At 168 hours, more than 90% of seeds treated with H2S had germinated. Is that true? I don't think that's even true. No, the 500 micromoles per liter at, 168 hours? No, that's not at 90%. It's a little bit over 80%. That's the line with the triangles. So A is out. At 48 hours, about 50% of seeds treated with H2S at 10 micromoles per liter had germinated. Is that true? At 48 hours, 50%, at 48 hours, 50% at 10 micromoles per liter was 10 micromoles per liter is the line with the squares. And 50% is the wrong number there. It's actually 70%, so that one is also wrong. At 24 hours, less than 10% of seeds treated had germinated, whereas, well, see, that's not relevant because, we're talking about treated seeds versus untreated seeds, and this doesn't say anything about untreated seeds. So, I mean, it has to be D, but let's look at it. 48 hours, more than 70% of the H2S at 10, 70% at 10 micromoles per liter, and 50% of untreated. Is that right? 48 hours. At 48 hours, we've got, let's see, 70%, 70%, yeah, and then 50% of the untreated. So the answer would be D. All right. Biologists have predicted that birds' feather structures vary with habitat temperature, but this hadn't been tested in mountain environments. Ornithologist Sahas Barv studied feathers from 249 songbird species inhabiting different elevations and thus experiencing different temperatures in the Himalaya mountains. He found that feathers of high elevation species not only have a greater proportion of warming downy sections to flat and smooth sections than do feathers of low elevation species, but high elevation species feathers also tend to be longer, providing a thicker layer of insulation. So that supports, well, I mean, at the beginning it says, biologists predict that feather structures vary with temperature. Hadn't been studied in mountain environments. So this study confirms the belief that feather structures vary. Which choice best states the main idea? Barv's investigation shows that some species of Himalayan songbirds have evolved feathers that better regulate body temperature than contradicting previous predictions. No, it doesn't contradict previous predictions. Result of Barv's study suggests that the inability of birds to withstand cold temperatures is determined more strongly by feather length. No, again, we're not challenging an established belief. Barr found an association between habitat temperature and feather structure among Himalayan songbirds, lending new support to a general prediction. Yes, that's what happened. So let's go with C. Archaeologists have been debating the origin of a rare form of lead found in Shang Dynasty bronze artifacts since its presence was discovered in China in the 1990s. Different researchers have proposed theories on which regions of the world would have had the raw materials containing the specific lead in these artifacts, but no conclusive evidence has been presented. What is intriguing is that bronze artifacts from China dated after the Shang Dynasty do not contain this form of lead, suggesting that logically complete the text. Bronze was used during the Shang Dynasty before different metal. No, because it says there were bronze artifacts after the Shang Dynasty. Shang Dynasty bronze pieces are rare and therefore more valuable. No, it doesn't say that. Methods used to analyze. No, it doesn't say that. I mean, it has to be D, but let's see what it says. The source of some of the raw materials was exploited only until the end of the Shang Dynasty. I mean, yeah, I don't love that answer, but it's the only one that even sort of makes sense. Bicycles were first mass-produced in the late 19th century throughout Europe and North America, allowing individuals remarkable freedom to travel longer distances quickly and comfortably. This freedom, coupled with the affordability of the vehicle, made the bicycle immensely popular. Individuals were able to live farther from their Workplaces easily visit neighboring towns, participate in new leisure and sport activities. Bicycling quickly became a popular social endeavor with enthusiasts forming local cycling clubs to enjoy these newfound activities with others. Which choice best states the main idea of the text? Well, I mean, it's got to be something like, just bicycles made life better for everybody. The widespread adoption of the bicycle in the late 19th century provided new opportunities for people. Yes. Yeah, they could live far. Well, what is it? They could live farther from home, travel longer distances, blah, blah, blah. Visit neighboring towns, participate in new activities. I mean, let's take a quick look at the other ones. Popularity of the bicycle, well, I mean, cycling clubs is not the main idea. Affordability of the bicycle made it the preferred way to travel. No, it doesn't say that. Mass production made it safer for people to use. No, it doesn't say that. So let's go with A. All right, table. We've got whale species. Body length, filter time, lunges per dive. All right, let's move on. Some whale species practice lunge feeding, in which they lunge toward prey with their mouths open at wide angles. Collect the prey and the surrounding water, and then filter out the water through baleen plates in their mouths. Although the volume of water engulfed increases with whales' body length, the surface area of whales' baleen plates, which influences the rate at which water can be filtered, does not increase with body length to the same degree, which helps explain why there are choices here. Minke whales and humpback whales show similar average filter times. Well, I mean, actually they don't. Blue whales show the longest average filter time and the highest average number of lunges per dive. Blue whales. Highest average filter time, yes. Average number of lunges per dive is not the most, so we've got to rule that out. B, gone. Humpback whale. What? Which choice most effectively? Oh boy. Humpback whales show 6.28 lunges per dive. Yeah, that has nothing to do with anything. So, I mean, it has to be D. Fin whales show a longer average filter time than minke whales. Okay, let's take a look. Fin whales and minke whales. Fin whales and minke whales. Fin whales have a larger body length, so they gulp more water, but they can't filter it faster, so it takes a lot longer than the minke whales. The minke whales are gulping less water. I mean, it's the only one that makes sense. D. In addition to her technical skill and daring feat, American stunt pilot Bessie Coleman was also known for dazzling the crowds that came to watch her air shows in the 1920s with her exuberant personality. During her career, she was careful and purposeful about how she crafted her public persona. An aviation researcher has claimed that Coleman intentionally defied social norms of the time by how she chose to present herself to the public, which quotation from an article about Coleman would most directly support the aviation researcher's claim. All right. While Coleman was beloved by spectators for her charisma, she had a more complicated relationship with her managers and staff, who at times found her behavior too impulsive and demanding. That's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it does suggest, a carefully constructed public persona, but that wasn't what the aviation researcher was talking about. We're supporting the aviation researcher. The aviation researcher was talking about defying social norms. So let's continue. Coleman once considered leaving her career as a stunt pilot to focus. No, that has nothing to do with it. For her air shows, she frequently used a certain type of plane. No. Although female pilots were typically expected to wear traditional but impractical attire that included dresses or skirts, photographs of Coleman show her wearing pants and leather jackets. Uh, well, if we're talking about, what did the guy say? Defying social norms. I mean, as far as defying social norms, I've got to go with D. Oh, all right. To investigate the history of plate subduction. When one of Earth's tectonic plates slides beneath another, Sarah M. Aarons and colleagues compared ancient rocks from the Acasta gneiss complex in Canada to modern rocks. Using isotope analysis, the researchers found that Acasta rocks dating to about 4.02 billion years ago, BYA, billion years ago, most strongly resemble modern rocks formed in a plume setting, an area in which hot rocks from Earth's mantle flow upward into the crust. By contrast, they found that Acasta rocks dating to about 3.75 BYA and 3.6 BYA have an isotope composition that is similar to modern rocks formed in a subduction setting. Aaron's team therefore concluded that majority of the rocks were formed through subduction. No, it doesn't say anything about, the majority of the rocks being one or the other. Subduction-like processes began occurring in some locations no later than 3.75 BYA. I mean, that's a fair conclusion. Rocks in the Acasta more recent origin, no, doesn't say anything about that. Subduction replaced mantle plume formation as the most common geological process. No, it doesn't say that. I mean, it's just they're just studying one spot, so you can't make a general conclusion like that. But we could say something like this: in some locations, it's no later than 3.75 because they actually observed that. All other things being equal, the larger a wind turbine's rotor diameter, let's take a quick look at this graph here. So the vertical axis is the percentage of newly installed turbines, and each line represents a rotor diameter. Okay, this is from 2011, 2021. Let's see, the larger wind turbine's rotor diameter, which is the diameter of the imaginary circle swept by the turbine's rotating blades, the greater amount of energy the turbine can generate. In a research paper on wind power, a student claims that in the United States, the amount of energy generated per newly installed turbine increased substantially between 2011 and 2021, which choice best describes data in the graph that supports the student's claim. In 2011, nearly 80% of turbines installed had rotor well, see, I'm not even going to check that because the claim is about what happened over a period of time from 2011 to 2021. This is just a snapshot answer of what was going on in 2011, so that's not right. B, no turbines installed in 2011 had rotor diameters greater than 115 meters, whereas the majority of turbines installed in 2021 had rotor diameters greater than 130. I don't think that's right. Greater than 130. So that's the, it's this thing. I'm not sure what this flying saucer looking thing, but no, it wasn't 50%. Wasn't most, no, the majority of turbines. Okay, let's try C. Most turbines installed in 2011 had rotor diameters of less than 100 meters. That's true. That is true. Whereas most turbines installed in 2021 had rotor diameters of at least 115 meters. So 115 meters is the oval shaped, and yeah, definitely that was the most most common in 2021. So C is a good answer. Percentage of newly installed turbines with rotor diameters greater than 130 meters increased every year. Is that true? I can't even see the. I mean, it probably is, but it looks like, but before 2015, the number of those was about zero. I don't know. So that's not good. The best answer is this one. Accurate and supports the claim. All right. Is that it? Yes, 10 out of 10. All right. Feel free to like, subscribe, and see you next time.